Well, now that the GT Sport demo's ended, now all there really is to do is wait for the main game, which will be out really cotton picking soon. But in the meantime, I guess I may as well review the demo. And, well, to start off, there isn't as much to review as the main game, but that's honestly not a bad thing. With all intents and purposes, it's the full game, as I said before. Really, all that was left out was voluntarily left out, and that's not really a bad thing. There was plenty in the demo to keep everyone entertained for the 4 and really 5 days since it got extended, but it wasn't too much to the point of if there were crazy people who were on 20 hours a day for all those 5 days and grinded non-stop, they would be ahead of everyone else either. So it was pretty much a perfect medium, plenty to do, but not so much that crazy people get way ahead. And on to reviewing the game itself, not just what was in the game. Well, the main things that I did is what I'll review first, and I would say the main things I put time into is sport mode, like the beta, and it is improved from the beta. The beta being closed beta, the demo being this. Some people call this beta also, which for people who play the closed beta is kind of confusing. So when I say beta, I mean the closed one. That was the private one that only a few people got into. When I say demo, I mean this. But anyway, for the demo, it is an improvement over the beta because in the beta, it was pretty much fixed. Who you race with is who you race with. Once you get after a week or so, everybody's Sportsman 7 driver rating were pretty set. But in this, it's pretty diverse. I would say out of a 24 car field, maybe 5 names I recognized more times than not. Occasionally more, occasionally less, but about that. It's just pretty diverse, and that's definitely a positive. I guess in a way we kind of knew that was going to come, and it was obvious, but at least now we know it's working for sure. And by it, I mean the driver rating. Sportsmanship rating is still kind of iffy. As you all saw in the rally car special taken, I was as clean as I could be as far as I could tell. I didn't voluntarily race dirty, I wasn't trying to. And I lost sportsmanship rating for that. The driver who did obviously race dirty, I can't remember if it came out even or gained, but nonetheless, they raced dirty and they should have lost, but they didn't. I raced clean, so I should have gained, but I didn't. And that's not really the only time either. Some of the kart races I was in, those are sort of kind of dirty by default because karts are sort of kind of hard to drive, so you have to be precise with them, and it's just hard to be completely precise online because lag and such. But yeah, that's kind of a gray area of sportsmanship rating. So, is it improved? Yes, but it's still not all that good. I still say Drive Club's way of doing it is better. And like some people said online too of other YouTube channels, is maybe they just shouldn't have penalties in general. Sportsmanship ratings should be the main thing. I'm in a way kind of the reverse. Penalties maybe should stay. Just iron them out and make them more precise. Maybe they shouldn't have sportsmanship rating though, because if they make penalties more precise and make it to where it's more accurate of if you use a wall to gain time, it's a big penalty. If you hit a wall, no penalty because it slows you down. If you hit another car, big penalty because it slows them down. So that way, the people who actually drive clean by default would have a higher driver rating because they would get a lot less penalties. So therefore, sportsmanship rating really wouldn't be needed because it correlates with driver rating in that sense. As of now, sportsmanship rating and driver rating don't really correlate that much. Because if you're really aggressive and go for a win, you can up your driver rating but lower your sportsmanship rating, or not lower your sportsmanship rating because it's pretty inconsistent. So, well, I don't know. That's just my opinion. Different people have different opinions of how it should be done. I don't mind that they're going to keep it because they obviously are, but they just need to change quite a bit about it, honestly. What to change in particular is kind of hard to say because I'm not a game editor. I don't know what all goes into it, but it could definitely be improved. Anyway, on to how the gameplay actually is, and not just the parameters of how it ends up. Like after the race, the gameplay itself is incredible. It's some of the most fun I've had playing video games, period. When everybody's racing clean, it's great. Which it should be. That's to be expected. If Gran Turismo is going to sell, they have to make it gameplay. They don't have the cars anymore to sell. In the old games, people bought them somewhat just to car collect. They've literally sponsored that this ain't that. But it it does play good, so maybe it will sell. To see in the future, I don't know, but it seems pretty good for now. Gameplay A plus, nothing to really complain about. Though when I'm not playing the game, that's sort of more of what to complain about. Not playing the game, meaning getting disconnected from the game, aka servers. Still not very good. PD said they're tweaking the servers and all that. That's good. At least they're putting effort into it. But tweak it for the better. We'll just have to see, folks. We'll just have to see. As of now, it's okay. It is better than the beta, but that's again to be expected. But it's still not really up to par with much else. It's Drive Club servers, for example, are ran by a company that doesn't even exist anymore, yet they're still up and pretty good. How that works, I have no idea. They're ran by a company that doesn't even exist, and they're still better than GT's newest game servers. But they're not terrible. They're not terrible. And as for the other gameplay bits, I guess first I'll go into the campaign mode. I sort of mentioned that a little bit. There's not tons in it, but what's there is good. The missions are somewhat of a challenge, but not awfully hard, which is how it should be. It's hard to make it good for everyone. Some people it's going to be too easy, some people it's going to be too hard, but obviously the gradually more you go on, the harder it gets. The 6 out of 8 are pretty difficult, even for me, and I'm good in the ABBA holder, I guess. So, yeah, they're not perfect. Though, there's some iffy things like the launch control one. Granted, it's the very first one. If you have traction control on one, you automatically get it. On the Mazda race at Interlagos, it doesn't even really help to use the change in the power or whatever fuel mix. But they're good. They're as good as all the other games. They do those okay. And finally, I guess, is the miscellaneous other things like scapes and all that. Obviously, they're good. They're to be expected good, though. Those are graphics. The graphics are good. So, that's as well as I'm going to review it. There's some things I've barely even focused on, like the scapes. That's why I didn't go there much. Like the liver header, I'm just not all that creative. I reviewed what I played more because to make it more accurate and useful. And all in all, it's definitely an improvement over the beta. Beta I gave about a 7.5, mostly because the servers were bad. This I'll give about an 8.5 because the servers are still not great. They're better. The gameplay's better. But that's kind of to be expected. I expected this to be rated higher than the beta, and it is. But it can still be improved. Am I going to get the game? Yes. So do you get the game? Probably. That's up to you. But as of now, pretty good game. I would still say better than Forza. Granted, I've never played Forza, but that's just my opinion. And you can hate all on you want. So, yeah, yeehaw. Good game. Could be better.